Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got the real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Here's your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright.
Who decided having an intro that long was a good idea? I mean, seriously. Anyway, welcome to NBA 2K MyLeague Tune Squad Edition. Now, what this is going to be is a little series involving these fine gentlemen. That sounds weird. Either way, we've got a 15-game season to play with this squad based around the film Space Jam, hence the Tune Squad name, and the entire intro. And what you might have noticed from the intro is that we have a few unfamiliar faces. Of course, we've got Michael Jordan, the 99 overall, the star of the team. We also have Larry Bird, who of course had a speaking role in the film. Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, obviously a big part of the film, the Monstars. We also have Vlade Divac, who was part of the film as the Lakers locker room leader. Larry Johnson, another Monstar. Muggsy Bogues, another Monstar. Cedric Ceballos, also part of that Lakers locker room scene. Sean Bradley, another Monstar. But that's not enough people for a full NBA roster. So we also have Anthony Miller. Now, if you don't know who Anthony Miller is, then you're not uncommon. Anthony Miller was a power forward who played for the Lakers and somehow managed to work his way into the Space Jam film. Now, believe it or not, and I was surprised by this, he wasn't actually in the game. He wasn't on any of the retro teams, and no one had made him on the player DNA creations. So I had to make a really generic looking guy. It looks literally nothing like him. But it's the best I could do, putting in very minimal effort. And this is Anthony Miller, 70 overall, because like I said, he wasn't very good, if you care. He can shoot the mid-range a bit. Free throw's not great. His post-game's not great, even though the only two highlights you saw in the opening package were post-games. Doesn't mean he was actually that great at it. But, he's going to contribute, I assume, in some way. But that's not all, because we've got a few more players to go through. The next one, it's Bill Murray, and I know what you're thinking. Bill Murray at 65 seems a bit high, and you're not wrong. But what you got to bear in mind is that his layups are 60 because he has a little bit of basketball skill, but his standing dunks are 25, his driving dunks are 25. His shooting, again, almost competent. Free throw, he can make them. Post game though, 25. Draw foul, up a bit. Shot IQ, fine. Passing, fine. Speed, 25. Hands, fine. Passing, fine. Defense, competent. Steal, fine. Block, 25. Rebounding, pretty low. Quickness, 25. Help defense, pass perception, competent. But all of this just 25s until we get to the more mental side of it. I didn't want to be too harsh because the point of the film was that he was like competent to an extent. So I gave him, a 65 rated. Even gave him some badges. He's got slippery off ball because he did get open quite a lot in the film. He's also got pass fake maestro from when he held the ball out and completely mugged off one of the Monstars. On a break starter for outlet passes, dimer because he got an assist, I think. I should probably check that. Fuck it. And flashy passer because he has that little behind the back pass to Jordan. So he's got a bit of skill about him, a bit of finesse, and obviously he can play centre as well as point guard because he's 6'2", so he probably did play centre on the Tune Squad just by virtue of being the second tallest player they had available. And if you think that's bad, yeah, we've also got Stan Podolak. He can also play backup centre. I was going to make centre his primary position, but firstly, we already have 3 of them. Ignored the 2 40 overalls, they're just there to fill out the roster. Literally needed to have them. And there was no one else who had a speaking role in Space Jam. So, yeah, Stan Podolak he can play centre, but yeah, he's not his primary position. I made him a shooting guard because all he does in the game is catch and shoot. So, he's a 5'7", 300-pound shooting guard who's a 55 overall. And if you look at his ratings, you can tell he's in the team for one reason, and that's not to make layups or dunks, or shoot it from anywhere close to the rim. It's to chuck threes. Because his 3-point rating is a 99. And that's because in the game, we only saw him do one thing, and that was catch the ball and technically shoot it from 3 and make it. So, you know, he's got that 99 3 ball. His free throws are 25. First game's all 20. Everything else apart from hands, I think, and offensive consistency. Because, like I said, he can clearly do that week in, week out. But yeah, it's just 25s everywhere, just everywhere. Oh, I also give him 30 strength because, I mean, he is like 300 pound. It's probably at least slightly difficult to shift that much weight. I don't know if you call it strength or if it's just density, but it's there. So you know, I thought I'd nice him a little bit. And yeah, everything else is just sort of, you know, it exists. He got the average hustle for his position, which probably isn't accurate, but you know what? I believe in Stan. He's going to do a job. Oh, the other thing about Stan is that his badges are phenomenal. Hall of Fame catch and shoot, corner specialist, deadeye, flexible release, green machine, hot start, hot zone hunter, pick and popper, quick draw, range extender, and steady shooter. You might think that's overkill, but again, he's a 5'7" shooting guard who can't do anything apart from shoot threes. This is either going to be really overpowered or absolutely terrible. Okay, so if you're wondering about the rotation, we're having Muggsy as the starting point guard, Michael Jordan as the starting shooting guard, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, with Johnson, Divac, Ceballos, Bradley, Miller, Murray, Podolak off the bench. There's not too much nuance to the rotation because I'm going to do manual subs, so I'm just going to bring them in as and when. It's not going to be too specific rotation, but I do want to make sure that in every game, every player at least plays a little bit, so in principle they all get minutes. Because otherwise, what's the point, you know? There's no point in just having Stan there to not play. He's part of this team, and he's going to be a major part of this team. Now, as for the opponents, as you can see from the schedule for the 15-game season, we're playing exclusively teams in the Eastern Conference. That's just the way the game set it up. I don't know if it's possible to set it up to play teams in the West, but we're not. So I'm going to do a quick little rundown of some of the all of the Eastern Conference teams, just to give you an idea of what we're up against. Because you might think that this team looks pretty stacked, but when you compare it to the other teams in the league, it's not quite as overpowered as it seems. Okay, so the 76ers, they have John Stockton, Mitch Richmond, and Dikembe Mutombo as their big three. It's just sort of defensively stacked, this team, Stockton and Mutombo. That's going to be a good 1-2 combination on the offense as well. They've also got Stojakovic for 3 balls, got Mike Conley for more defense, Udonis Haslem for... But they also have like Marshawn Brooks, so we do have a chance. You know, they have 4 90+ overalls. This isn't as easy as it seems. The Bucks have Dwayne Wade and Bob Cousy and Dwight Howard and DeMarcus Cousins and Billy Cunningham, who was drafted in the 60s, so I have no idea who he is, but he looks good. Pause. But you know, you can see this team is also quite stacked. I mean, they've got Iman Shumpert, so again, I wouldn't count us out. But yeah, no, Wade, Cousy, Howard, Cousins maybe off the bench. Can he play power forward? Apparently he can't play power forward, so he's off the bench, but yeah, that's a tough team. The Chicago Bulls, who I believe are our first opponents, have Bill Russell, Vince Carter. Okay, that's intimidating. Joe Dumars to shoot threes, Baron Davis to chuck full court shots and make them. That's not fun. Michael Ray Richardson, I'd assume, off the bench for defense. Oh god, they got AK and Zach Randolph. Jesus Christ, this team is stacked. John Starks is not even that bad. And they've got Quincy AC. We are screwed. Well, we're losing the first game of the season. Wow. Okay. Right, so the all-time Cavaliers look even better than the Bulls. What is this team? Jesus. So they've got Welby 3 as the point, Klay Thompson as the 2 guard, James Worthy at the 3, Tim Duncan at the 4, and David Robinson as the center. Everyone on this team can shoot a 3 at least competently. Clay's Klay Thompson. Apparently Welby 3's got an A+. I see how intimidating that A+ is. It's a 93. Okay. They've all got good defense, whether that be inside. Actually, I say that Wobby3 actually doesn't have that good defense. I was looking at the playmaking for him. So, but either way, that's an obscene team. Who's their bench? Bradley Beal, Millsap. Oh boy, yeah, this is definitely the. Oh, they have Salamedri. We're screwed. Game over. They give this team the championship now. If there's a better team than this, legitimately, I'm gonna be surprised. Tim Duncan, David Robinson, James Worthy, Klay Thompson, and Wobby3. That's obscene. Okay, the all-time Celtics. They are Clyde Drexler, Bill Walton, and Alex English. This team isn't that intimidating, I'm not going to lie, compared to what we've just seen at least. I think that might have sort of lowered or raised my expectations. Whichever way around, that makes sense. But yeah, looking at this team, it doesn't seem too bad. Can't discount Clyde Drexler, but I'm not as intimidated by this team, certainly. Okay, the Hawks have Steve Nash, Carmelo Anthony, Kevin Love, and Drazen Petrovic. For what's worth, and Glenn Rice. But yeah, they've got 3 points. Everyone on this team. Oh my god, everyone on this team can shoot threes. They've even got Vucevic as a center. Who's their starting center? Interesting, but he can shoot a 3. Oakley can shoot a 3. He's the first person to not have an A rating, but his rating's still a B+. Oh, they have Varejao. Okay, that's literally the only one who can't shoot a 3 in this team is Anderson Varejao. Literally, even their 2 like real life people who got drafted or signed for whatever reason, I have no idea. Maybe the game ran out of good players. I literally don't know why every team seems to have 270 overalls, but even they can both shoot 3. Literally, it's just Varejao and Oakley who don't have an A rating, and Oakley has a B+, which is still it's only a 76. Okay, maybe I'm less intimidated. What's Vucevic? 81. Either way, they can shoot 3s. And yeah, Steve Nash and Carmelo sounds like a pretty dangerous combination. Because you have Nash to get assists to like Petrovic shooting 3s, or to just pass and shoot to Melo, because Melo, will pull the trigger at any given opportunity. And Kevin Love, in prime Kevin Love mode, just got every rebound available to him. Literally all of them. So this team looks pretty dangerous, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, that's actually quite nice. LeBron on the all-time Heat. It's quite fitting. It's quite terrifying that he's with Harden and Lillard though. Thankfully, it doesn't look like Lillard will be starting, because Nate Archibald's here, but they might and Lillard apparently can't play the 2, so I was going to say they could slide. Actually, Harden's there, so they wouldn't have done that anyway. This team is terrifying because no matter if they have their starters or their bench, they can have someone pulling out just stupid long 3s and step backs with Harden and Lillard. And if you've ever played 2K against the AI, you'll know that Harden and Lillard just don't stop shooting. Like, even if they're missing, they'll just keep shooting, and because their ratings are so good, they'll eventually just make like 3 threes in a row, and then bang, you're 9 points down, or 9 points further back than you were before. The one advantage is obviously neither of them can really play defense, so that's an advantage. But they do have LeBron, so that's the bigger worry here. Looking further down the team, they got Siakam, so that's interesting. Oh, got Lou Will, there you go, got bench scoring as well for Reed and Stauskas. This is a team that's either going to beat me horribly. They do have 590 rated players, but I'm not intimidated by it. I don't know why. I reckon I'm going to lose to this team because I'm downplaying how good it is. Okay, the Hornets, they are cool. They're interesting. So they got Kevin Durant as their star, Pete Maravich as the shooter, Jojo White as the starting point, Rondo backing him up. That's a pretty intimidating 2-guard combo, or starter bench combo, so to speak. And they also have Yao Ming, who's obviously 7'6" and pretty dangerous as a center. But their bench doesn't actually look that good. So I think I'm quite comfortable against this team. Rondo, Yao Ming, White, Maravich, Durant. If that was a starting 5, I would be more intimidated, even though it would involve playing Maravich at the 3, which apparently he just can't do. So I think this team's fine. I think rotation might kill this team because their bench, I'm not that intimidated by, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, the all-time Knicks, they have Karl Malone, Bob McAdoo, Chauncey Billups, Cliff Hagan and John Wall as their, again, another team with 5 90+ overalls. The bench isn't that strong. I mean, they have Nikola. Wow, they have a really weak bench. Mirotic and Randall both get onto the bench of this team. I'm not saying anything bad about Mirotic and Randall, but they're not exactly great overalls. But yeah, so Karl Malone is obviously Karl Malone, and he's just a dangerous man on and off the court. So, Bob McAdoo was kind of a revolutionary centre. So, he's going to be quite good. And Chauncey Billups and John Wall, again, is a worrying pair of point guards for the other team to have, because no matter who's on the floor, they're going to be a weapon. Okay, the all-time Magic have quite an interesting lineup by the looks of it. It doesn't look very good. I mean, they only have 3 90 overalls, which sounds weird to say. But yeah, one of them's Westbrook, so that's either going to be an easy win or he's going to go off for 60. And Scottie Pippen, who obviously he's Scottie Pippen, it'll do his job. Robert Parrish is not the worst centre to go up against, and then LaMarcus Aldridge and Westphal is the 2 and the 4. I'm not too scared by this team. Gordon Hayward, Antoine Walker, Joakim Noah, Deloading, Doug West, James Posey. But yeah, no, I think this team isn't going to be too difficult. Again, unless Westbrook goes off for like a 50-point triple-double, which I'm going to say isn't going to happen, but I might regret that. Holy shit, I'm glad I'm not facing this team. AI and Giannis, that's literally going to be a 2-man team. Holy fuck. I say and then if they make the finals, I'm going to face them. But that's terrifying. Okay, the Brooklyn Nets. Another team that doesn't look too bad. They got Paul George, they got Jason Kidd. But oh wow, yeah, this team. If we're not beating this team, we're gonna lose every game. That's not a very, very good team at all. Okay, we're getting quite lucky by the looks of it. The Pacers, not too strong. Chris Paul, there's obviously Chris Paul. That's relatively intimidating, but Dan Issel and Dave Cowens, yeah. Not going to pretend like I'm particularly concerned by that. Gail Goodrich and Eddie Jones can shoot. Luol Deng. Rick Smits is 7'4", but I'm not. They got Sean Livingston. Just give us the win now. Yeah, this team doesn't really faze me. I mean, Chris Paul could have a great game, but if he has a great game, I'll just play through Michael Jordan at the 2. If Chris Paul's locking up Muggsy Bogues, he's locking up Muggsy Bogues. If he's locking up Bill Murray, I'm going to take issue. Okay, Detroit's interesting. They've got Wilt as their best player. Elgin Baylor, Mark Price, Amari Stoudemire, and Rip Hamilton. This team, it looks quite well-rounded. Their best 5 players can make a starting 5. With him, when Rip Hamilton's your worst in your starting 5 by rating. That's not bad. They've also got Rudy Gobert, so obviously I can't go anywhere near him, otherwise I'm going to die, so he's going to have his run of the paint. Steve Francis is a good backup. This team looks just quite well-rounded. There's nothing here that I'm particularly like, oh no, there's something I'm scared of. They've got Rudy Gobert and Zaza Pachulia on the same team. Both of them are just going to take out my players for completely different reasons, but if I make it through the game against Detroit with all of my players healthy, it will be a miracle. I quite like the fact that Kawhi is on the Toronto team. This team actually looks... does it look threatening? I saw the first 3 people and then I saw the next 2, and I mean, Kiki's coming off the bench, so I'm less concerned about that. But yeah, Penny, Powell and Kawhi is a pretty intimidating big 3. Tom Chambers isn't terrible. Who said 2? Dick Van Arsdale. Okay, he can shoot, he can play defense. That's not great. This team looks relatively strong. Roy Hibbert, their bench isn't good. Yeah, this team is going to be another one of those ones that's either going to end up being really good or just going to be quite easy. Kawhi will probably clamp up Larry Bird, but we've just got to hope we can. we can. I feel like the thing is with this whole setup, every player is quite good, so every game's going to be at least a bit of a struggle because everyone can play defense and everyone can shoot. And by everyone, I mean you get the point. We might have left the most dangerous team for last. Look at this squad. I don't know who their center is yet, but if it's anyone remotely competent, we're going to get absolutely murdered by this team. They've got Oscar Robertson at point, Tracy McGrady at the 2, Dominique Wilkins at the 3, and a prime Blake Griffin at the 4. With another 90 overall off the bench in Bobby Jones. They could even play him at the 4 and slide Blake to centre if they really wanted to. All of the big 4 can shoot. Thankfully Jones can't, but apparently he's just an elite, like a top elite defender for a small forward. A+ inside and perimeter is insane. So the fact he literally can't shoot might help us a little bit. A 30, yeah, no, I'm going to sag off this man so hard as soon as he comes on the court. This team is obscene. Who's their centre? And their centre is Ralph Sampson, who's 7'4". I'm not beating this. This is the team that's going to... How am I supposed to beat this team? Right, that's terrifying. That's actually terrifying. They got Oladipo off the bench. He'll lock up. Kenny Anderson, Otis Thorpe. They got Tree Rollins, man. He played till he was 40. Eric Gordon to come off the bench as well. Man, I mean, they saved the best till last, didn't they? Jesus Christ, this Washington team. That's an obscenely strong team. Okay, so the first game will be in the next episode. We're playing 8-minute quarters on Hall of Fame difficulty, which I might regret very. When do we play that team? Was it Washington? When do we play Washington? Washington. Okay, it's sort of mid-season-ish. We'll have time to warm up. But our first game will be against the Bulls. And the Bulls team, of course, was this relatively good Vince Carter, Bill Russell-led team. So that's going to be I think that's going to be one of the tougher games to open it off. So I hope you'll join me, and thank you for watching.